One stormy night, a girl found a way to the future in the library. She said to herself,
"Hark! 'Tis thundering retribution, an omen of dark times ahead."
That, and
Silence, Oz!
Oh hi! How are you doing? Today, we'll be benchmarking Fischl and Oz from Genshin Impact in 1440p on my Intel Arc A770 16GB in Honkai Impact 3rd. But this time, I'll be running VTuber Studio and record footage using OBS all on my Sonic computer, so we'll see how the card can handle all these tasks at once. Our test will take place in the Elysian Realm. We'll be doing deep sequence as the Prinzessin der Verurteilung, and we'll play on Shroud difficulty. But first, let's look at the Sonic computer's specs and settings. The operating system we'll be using is Windows 11 64 bits. The CPU is the i5 13600K. It likes to process things. It's equipped with 32 GB of DDR5 RAM clocked to 6400 MHz. The GPU is the Arc A770 with 16 GB of VRAM. We'll be using this driver version from February 22nd for this GPU. Having a Sonic computer is indeed way past cool, as that blue thing would say. Next, these will be our graphic settings for the first 8 floors of the deep sequence, and when we progress to the 9th floor, we will up the shadow quality to very high. Lastly, I'll go over my setup for this Chunibyo. I actually do have her weapon and her stigma set, so of course we'll be using them. With all that out of the way, it's time to test.
Time for Retribution!
Mein Fräulein, if I may be so bold. My apologies.
求めて怖がらないで。私の友達なの。出発するわ。久しぶり。行くわよ。出発するわ。行くわよ。コードの裁きを受けなさい。行くわよ。受 行くわよ。出発するわ。コードの裁きを受けなさい。出発するわ。裁きを受けなさい。君の悲鳴こそが私の求める完成。影のカラスが優也を求めている。簡単なトリックだ。怖がらないで。私の友達なの。そうでなきゃ面白くないね。優也の降臨、すなわち断罪の時よ。
The test has been completed. So, the Arc A770 didn't have problems with OBS recording. I used the X264 encoder. I don't know if it was ideal, but it works. And VTube Studio performs fine as well, set to 720p at 60 FPS. Time to begin the game benchmark analysis. Starting at the first 8 floors with the rendering and shadows set to high, the game would perform at 120 frames with the 1% lows above 60. But when Azure Imperia or the weapon active is triggered, the performance takes a slight hit, and the 1% low often goes under 60. At the 9th floor, I upped the shadow quality to very high. The performance would stay at 120 FPS, but now it's more sensitive to the particles on screen from our attacks. On the 17th floor, the minimum frame rate even went under 60. The 1% lows went even lower this time, but it did stay above 30 frames. By the way, I noticed graphical errors on the 5th through 8th floors, but they resolved themselves after triggering Azure Imperia. I also found other graphical errors off of my benchmark footage. I tried playing this on my RTX 3080 on this update version, and the graphics were normal, so I assume it's a bug between the A770 and this game. At least the graphic bugs don't seem to be game-breaking on the A770. Conclusion: while not quite perfect, the game performs pretty decent in 1440p on the A770, but if you're still not quite satisfied with the performance, well, I tried playing at the lowest settings, and there wasn't much difference, so you might as well play with the highest settings, or cap it to 60 if you'd prefer. The Arc A770 is one of Intel's first discrete GPUs, and while it is very capable, it still has some performance and graphical issues with some games, so I'm hoping future driver updates will help it out a lot in the near future.
So thanks for watching this video. If you happen to enjoy this video, consider hitting the like button and subscribing. And don't forget to share the video. With the power of not being a normie, I can become best girl. Yep, that should be everything. Bye!